Go ahead.
Jen, thanks. Two questions. One, the Treasury Secretary said yesterday that a wealth tax is something you haven't decided on yet and can look at. Mm-hmm. Is that on the table as an approach to pay for some of the next round of plans from the president?
Well, I know Senator Warren has put forward a wealth tax, and the president shares her view that middle-class families are paying more than their fair share, and those at the top are not doing their part. So certainly he has that shared objective. He laid out during the campaign his own plans for fixing this, which are different from Senator Warren's, but certainly as we get to the point about discussing taxes and tax reform or reforms of the tax system, that they share an objective.
But is that, just to be clear, the Treasury Secretary said it was something you haven't decided on yet. Is that accurate?
Well, I think it's how to pursue it. What I'm conveying is that there is a shared view that those at the top are not doing their part. Obviously, that corporations could be paying higher taxes. That continues to be consistent with what the president talked about. He had a different proposal he put forward than the one Senator Warren has put forward, but you know, as is always the case with democracy in action, when it's the appropriate time, I'm sure they'll discuss, and he will discuss with others what their views are of how to address this moving forward.
And then also, the EU is starting legal action against the United Kingdom for not honoring Brexit conditions. Does the U.S. support this action, and is the president particularly concerned given his support for the Good Friday Agreement?
Yeah. Let me see if I have something on this for you, and if not, I'm happy to get something for you after the briefing. We continue to encourage both the European Union and the UK government to prioritize pragmatic solutions to safeguard and advance the hard-won peace in Northern Ireland. We would, of course, encourage you to speak to those governments directly about any legal actions. President Biden has been unequivocal in his support for the Belfast Good Friday Agreement. This agreement has been the bedrock of peace, stability, and prosperity for all the people of Northern Ireland, and we also welcome cooperation between our British and Irish counterparts on the Northern Irish Border Protocol. Go ahead, Hans.
Just quick housekeeping one.
Sure.
When does Gene start?
Let me see what I have here for you. I do know he's currently in California, and so he'll be working remotely for a period of time until he has his vaccine. Let me see if I have a timeline for him. I'll check on that for you, Hans.
Just a quick follow-up, and maybe I have two. But will he be in the West Wing or the EOB?
Where will his office be?
Yes.
Well, he will be working remotely for some period of time. His title will be White House American Rescue Plan Coordinator and Senior Advisor to the President. Try to fit that on a card. I don't know. Long one, but impressive. He'll work out of the White House and have a team working with him. In terms of where his office will be, I'm not sure that's been formally determined quite yet.
Okay, and then Zeke's question is sort of, does the president have any opinions or sort of thoughts on how Americans should be spending that they're getting their stimulus checks? More broadly speaking, all this money is going to be coursing through states and localities, cities. Does the president have any sort of preferences? Does he have any red lines of what they shouldn't do? If there are any tax cuts, would that bother him? How is he thinking about the money once it goes out the door to states and localities?
Well, the original purpose of the state and local funding was to keep cops, firefighters, other essential employees at work and employed, and it wasn't intended to cut taxes. So I think he certainly hopes that that's how the funding is used. But part of the implementation of it will be under the purview of our soon-to-be starting coordinator and senior advisor to the president, and I'm sure he'll be focused on that.
As money's coming into states and localities, and in some cases it hasn't been as disastrous as was maybe earlier thought it might be, and the shortfall isn't as great. Some of the states and localities could find themselves with surpluses. And so I guess what you're saying here is that the president and Gene, by extension, would be opposed to any tax cuts that any states or localities would pass through, that they'd rather have it be more on the building front or more on the hiring front. Am I hearing you correctly?
Well, I think the intention, as we've long talked about, was to keep people in their jobs and their roles. If there's like cops and firefighters and others, if there are surpluses, I'll have to talk to our NEC team if what considerations they have for that particular issue.